2 were fathers. 1 served in the Marines for 20 years. All 3 were American firefighters who had gone to Australia to battle the ferocious, deadly blazes, and all 3 died this week in a fiery crash on a hill near a wildlife sanctuary.
The men, all former service members in their 40s, worked for Coulson Aviation, a private company in Canada that has worked with firefighters in the United States and elsewhere to suppress fires. They died after taking off on one of the company's large air tankers, a Lockheed C-130, on a mission to suppress the bush fires that have killed more than 30 people.
The crash took place in the mountains south of Canberra, Australia's capital. 5 firefighters had already been killed this fire season as millions of acres of land have been charred and more than 2,500 homes have burned down.
Here is what we know about the 3 men who died in the crash.
Ian H. Macbeth, 44, captain.
Mr. Macbeth, of Great Falls, Montana, was a father of 3 who had served with both the Wyoming and Montana National Guards, Coulson Aviation said in a statement. He had flown C-130 planes for his entire career and spent many years fighting fires while in the military and with Coulson.
The company said in the statement that Mr. Macbeth's love for his wife and children was evident for anyone who spent time around him.
Governor Jared Polis of Colorado said Mr. Macbeth had graduated from Ray High School in Northeast Colorado in 1994.
"Colorado mourns with you," Mr. Polis said.
Paul C. Hudson, 42, first officer.
Mr. Hudson, who lived in Buckeye, Aries, graduated from the Naval Academy in 1999 and earned 2 master's degrees from the Naval Postgraduate School. He served in the Marine Corps for 2 decades, including as a pilot of C-130 planes, before retiring as a lieutenant colonel, Coulson Aviation said.
Arizona is heartbroken by this news. Governor Doug Ducey said on Twitter, First Officer Paul Hudson was a hero who dedicated his life to service, first as a Marine, then as a firefighter. And when help was needed to fight wildfires in Australia, he didn't hesitate. Arizona's prayers go out to him and his family.
Mr. Ducey ordered that flags across the state be lowered to half-staff.
WOAI, a television station in San Antonio, reported that Mr. Hudson attended Alamo Heights High School.
Officer Hudson is survived by his wife, the company said.
Rick A. De Morgan Jr., 43, flight engineer.
Mr. De Morgan lived in Navarre, on the Florida Panhandle, and had 2 sons. He served in the Air Force for 18 years as a flight engineer on C-130 planes. Mr. De Morgan spent more than 4,000 hours in that role, including 2,000 hours in a combat environment, Coulson Aviation said.
Rick's passion was always flying and his children, the company said.
Representative Matt Gaetz, whose congressional district includes Navarre, said the entire community was grieving for Mr. De Morgan, whom he called a hero.
One of our brave Northwest Florida patriots, Rick A. De Morgan Jr., passed away this week while fighting devastating wildfires in Australia, Mr. Gaetz said on Twitter. Rick's servant's heart will not soon be forgotten.